Hello everybody, it's the 23rd of May 2021 today, and the Virginia creeper is sprouting nicely. I'm going to leave all these lower shoots to help fatten the trunk at the base, and at the moment I'm thinking I'm going to allow this top shoot to come out and this one, and then I'll begin to form a trunk, a crown from around here, and have the tree maybe 3 foot tall, and let the shoots rain down, rather like a weeping willow. That's how I hope to grow it. Over in the corner, just there, I have a pot, and I have some more of these layering into that pot, and I may fuse them with this one to create a fatter trunk, or I may just create a second one, fusion. These trail over from next door and their shed and just come down like a big curtain, and that's how I'm going to aim for that sort of weeping effect on this one. But yeah, this will be a timey-wimey video, and we'll see how we progress through summer into autumn. So it's growing great guns now. We have lift off, as it were, and the creeper is not so much creeping as flying off the edge of the cane up there. I'm going to leave it another week or so, and then I will stop it. And these other branches, well, I will see how they develop. Certainly the ones down here at the base of the trunk, I'm going to leave to grow as long and as wild as they want, just to fatten this trunk at the base, so we can get some good taper. And the good news is we can get the camera to pan round. Over here in this pot, I have 4 or 5 pieces that are rooting, or appear to have rooted really well. They're growing away like mad, so I'm either going to attempt to fuse those into the base of this in future years, or just fuse the 4 or 5 that I get from that into one and race them. In fact, I think I'll do that, and I'll race the pair, and we'll see which one does best. It's the 3rd of July today, and the Virginia creeper has been growing well. It has shot up and up and up, well past the end of its cane, and sort of launched itself off looking for something else to climb up. But I'm going to put a stop to that, because I'm going to chop it just there. I'm looking at, a fair height, I think, of being a little bit higher than that. And then building ahead and possibly growing it as a kind of weeping willow style tree, if that makes sense. But I'm going to cut it further back. I can see a shoot. Can I focus on that on the screen? Yes, just there. There is a shoot, which I'm going to cut it back to there, and that shoot will be the new leader. That's better. Okay, so if we zoom back out, I'm going to leave the rest of it as is, pretty much. So that's it in kind of all its glory at the moment. I'm hoping to bring this branch across, but I want it to fatten up, so I'm not going to trim it, so it'll probably take off as a new leader anyway. and then the head will come up into kind of here somewhere. All these other shoots I'm going to leave on and just let them grow and grow and grow, because I want to fatten this trunk in the base here, which isn't any more than pencil thickness at the moment. We have this pot, and some stinging nettles, which I hadn't even noticed until they just bit me. Get rid of those. Where these long shoots are coming down, well, they're essentially coming over the fence from next door. I've actually put some into a pot last year, and I believe they've all rooted, and so I'm going to separate them. And now I just need to figure out which side to cut off. Let's move the pot. I think if I cut there, and there and there, and indeed there, what I now have is a pot full of Virginia creeper, which I'm going to allow to grow. They filled that pot very nicely with root, as you can see. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By the look of it, 5 Virginia creeper plants, free, gratis and for nothing. I'm going to allow them to grow this year, and then in the spring I'm going to pot them into a pot, and I'm going to fuse them, or I'm going to attempt to make them into a fusion bonsai, and we'll compete one with t'other, just for a laugh. I'll cut that back where it's broken. So yeah, another fun experiment, just because I can. And some would say I've got too much time on my hands. I put a cane in the centre and tied all the trees, or the individual vines, up in order to make it a bit easier to try and do a fusion project with them next year. But for now this will just get them at least beginning to have an upright trunk instead of just hanging over the edge of the pot. It's July the 26th, and this Virginia creeper is well, it's starting to get out of hand, and I had said I was going to leave it to grow for the entire summer and fatten up the stem, but pieces are hanging off the sides everywhere and threatening to tangle up with the rest of the trees, so I'm going to give it a bit of a trim. Starting at the top here, this is where I trimmed it off in the last section of video, and it's already put out 18 inches, 2 foot of growth. Excuse me, sorry about that. Yeah, so I'm gonna, well, I want it to be about the height of this cane, so I'm gonna trim it off at about just above the height of this cane for now, and then moving down I have a piece that I want to train upwards if I can, so let's see if I can get that on camera. This piece is going to take quite a bit of holding upright, I believe, simply because well, it hasn't got the oomph to do it itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is trim it off at about the length I want it, which will obviously make it easier to handle and less to wire up, etc, etc, less for the wire to hold up. Okay, so we'll come back to that in a minute. I'm going to take off some of these other pieces, not all the way back to the trunk, but just to take some of the weight off this cane, stop me tripping over all these long old extension growths, and you know, these will shoot again and continue to help fatten the trunk, I hope. There we go. Okay, so that's taken quite a load off this cane that's holding the tree up, and now we can see if we can do something. My vision is for a single trunk roaching into two at around this point, and side shoots, etc, and then allowing the tree to weep like a large weeping willow. I don't know if I can pull that off. I'm gonna try. It'll be fun having a go, and that's the name of the game. So I had already attached a length of wire to this branch, which now starts here, and that was holding it up because it was coming straight down, but of course the weight of it is just making it flop over and unable to support itself at this stage. So now I need to do something to try and give it a bit more, well, presence, I guess you could say. So let's take some wire, see what I can do. Okay, so I've taken a length of wire, I've anchored it in place around the cane, and then I'm simply very loosely going to wrap it around this branch just to give it some form and function. Now eventually this branch will fatten up such that it'll support itself. That may take a couple of years, but that's okay. I'm not going anywhere, and hopefully neither is this. Okay, so it's very loosely wired because I want it to be on there for some time and not cut in. And now I can just give it a bit of movement as well, so it's not a straight up and down branch. Rather like so, giving it a bit of depth. Perfect. Now I could cut that piece off at the top. I have an extra length of wire way up here, but I'm going to leave that on because it will shoot some more, and I may tie that in as well. Okay, moved back out. Hopefully now you can see with a bit more definition how the trunk will now split into two at this point, and hopefully we will get some branches come off, and eventually this stem will be bare. That's my plan. Once it has fattened up sufficiently, and the tree should resemble this, a kind of weeping willow shape. Fingers crossed. So here's a quick look at the 4 or so rooted pieces of Virginia creeper, and they've been growing up the cane really nicely. and off the end of it, and just going to let them grow, and then next year we'll pull them out of this pot and see if we can't fuse all of those into one to make a nice chunky root over the next few years. I think we'll call it a day on this for this video, and end it here, and I think I'll restart another one next month, and maybe take it through into the autumn. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Please do take care of yourselves. Stay safe, everybody.